As you lie down on your front, making a pillow for your forehead by stacking a hand on top of the other, I'd like you to close your eyes and notice as you lie on your front, which maybe we don't do very often in class, that you're aware of the breath moving through your body in a slightly different way than you usually do. So lying on your front with your forehead on your hands, maybe you're aware of the movement of your abdomen against your mat. Maybe you can feel your diaphragm moving at the base of your ribs. Maybe you're aware of that muscle moving, or maybe you're noticing more some little movement in the ribs, which might be an outwards movement as you inhale and move in again on your exhale. It's also a really nice way to release the spine from what's probably for most of us has been a day of sitting. So can you start to feel your spine releasing? Feel your shoulders across the back of the body, just as if there were some gentle hands pushing from the middle of the spine outwards over the shoulder blades. Almost feel that space being created at the back of the body. Awareness in the back of the neck as the forehead gently rests in your hands. Feeling the breath moving in and out through the body as you gently inhale and exhale. Good, and as we begin our practice this evening, having connected with your body, before we move into the first element of our practice, I'd like you just to think about where you'd like to be at the end of your practice this evening. How would you like your body to be feeling? How would you like your mind to be thinking? And as you, in the next 75 minutes, maybe get up from your practice and walk maybe into another room, what's the emotion that you want to be feeling that will let you know that you've got all that you need from your practice today? So as you gently lift your head just slightly away from your hands, slide your hands out to either side. So we're going to lift gently through the upper body, so planting the hands on the floor, forearms are on the floor. On your next inhale, just gently lift the chest up away from the floor as you maybe look straight ahead. So being mindful of your back, especially Elizabeth's mum, listening to your body. So your head is lifted as you've inhaled. On your next exhale, gently allow the body to come back to the floor, so bring the forehead back to the mat. And continue that for another couple of times, so feel yourself rising up with your inhale. Keep your glutes relaxed if you can, releasing down on your exhale. And one more time as you inhale. Good. Walk the hands slightly in towards each other, push against the elbows and lift your pelvis off the floor. Look back at your knees and open them as wide as your mat, and take yourself down into child's pose. So sink the bum back to the heels, keeping the elbows bent for the moment. Bring the forehead to the floor If the forehead won't reach the floor, then use your hands, either stack fist on fist to rest your forehead, or just hand on hand, or maybe the forehead touches the mat gently. So as you allow the body to settle into this restoring pose, again focusing on the lower back here, observing any tightness, any sensations, and using your exhale to intentionally breathe into any tightness. So your inhale brings your energy in, and your exhale allows the relaxation and softening to happen with your exhale. So inhaling and exhaling. One more round. Inhaling, always in and out through the nose, and exhaling. Good. So coming up onto the knees, plant the hands on your mat so that you're now in a tabletop position. So the knees are stacking underneath the heels, the wrists are underneath the shoulders, the fingers are spread nice and wide, and not just the wrists but the palms, the balls of the hands, the fingers right out to the finger pads are settled into the mat. So from here we're just going to start with some nice hip rolls. So you're going to slide the hips around to any one side, then move the bum back towards your heels, and then come around over the front of the hands. So making the hips into nice big circles, moving slowly and mindfully, no sharp, sudden or fast movements. You take circles 3 times in one direction, and then when you've completed 3 there, take 3 in the other direction. So we're really focusing on the hips and the lower back right now. Good. Coming to a pause in flat back. So we're now going to follow our breath in through cat-cow pose. So think about this before you move. So if we want our spine to be moving fluidly and following our breath, we're going to start with the exhale as you push the mat away. Slide the pelvis in the direction of the hands, turn the crown of the head down, pull the belly button in towards the spine, and feel the upper back rounding. Just take a moment there in your cat pose just to feel your way through that familiar pose for many of us. Okay, so as we release now, the bum slides slightly backwards, so we tilt the pelvis so the belly drops towards the floor into your cow, and we lift through the chest and look straight ahead. Again, just taking a moment to allow the body to settle into our cow pose. So now you're going to follow your breath with 3 rounds of cat-cow, moving mindfully. If you wish to close your eyes, it's a really nice way of getting into the sensing body. So inhaling into cat, and exhaling and releasing through cow pose. Really exaggerate the movement in that pelvic tilt. Follow your own rhythm, but it should be slow and mindful, in sync with your breathing. Good. And then coming back through flat back. Okay, so we're going to repeat the hip circles, but we're going to bring a little bit more flexibility into the front of the body. So we're actually going to maybe bend our elbows and allow the body to, it's a free form movement, you haven't got to get it right, but it could look something like this. So I'm going to sort of be leaning down, scooping. So as I go forward, as I go back, my bum goes towards my heels. And as I come forward, I almost drop maybe my chin or my chest. Just making the movement that feels right for your body. It doesn't have to be that deep, smooth dropping. It could just, your hands could be straight. I just want you to get a sense of your body moving smoothly, focusing on the spine. You can change direction, you can adjust the pose for your body, always listening and doing what's right for your body. Well done. Does it feel like a nice, free movement, as if your body was going and then coming to a pause. Okay. So from here we're going to step the right foot between the hands. So the right foot comes forward, so fingers are now in fingertips. This is where if you have a prop and you want to use it, so you could use blocks here, or you could use books, or you could use Tupperware, but if you've got nothing, then just fingertips are fine. So make the adjustments that your body needs. So we're going to move again through a familiar pose to many of us. We're going to start to work into the hip flexors now, at the same time as we continue to work the lower spine. So the movement goes something like this. You inhale, slide the hips forward. As you lift the chest away from the thigh and look straight ahead. So just hold this pose for a moment. So we're going to go through this process with many of our poses this evening. So the first one, we're feeling our way in. We're checking in with our body that everything feels okay. Good. And then we're going to slide the hips back, straightening the front leg. So we're looking down towards the toe, the back is releasing. Avoid pushing the fingertips so that it tightens the back. So soften the elbows so that the back is not in tension. Okay, so let's do that twice with the breath. Inhaling as the hips slide forward and the chest lifts. Feel that opening the front of the left hip flex. Exhaling as that comes in, the hips slide back. Foot stays in contact with the floor, soften the back. Let's do that one more time, flowing forward with that inhale as you lift in the chest. And sliding back with our exhale, softening the back. Okay, bend the knee so it's back over the ankle. And then turn the left toes onto your mat as you push and lift the left knee off your mat. So now you can feel into your left calf as the heel pushes away. Walk the hands onto the right thigh. So we're now in a supported lunge. Good job. And now if it feels okay for your body, release your hands from the thigh and line up the shoulders with your hips. Okay, so your hips are pointing forward. You're pushing into that back heel to keep that back leg active. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start to open into the sides of the rib cage and in through the shoulder. So we're going to take a bit of a twist. So your left hand is going to land inside of the right foot now. So drop the palm of the left hand inside the right foot, and naturally you can feel that your right hand arm wants to open up. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to open up the right arm like it was a wing of a bird towards the ceiling. Looking up towards the right hand if you can, and reaching tall. So you might feel that in your abdomen, you should feel that in your right shoulder, right rib cage, right chest, right underarm. So let's float that right hand back down, touch it to the left hand, and inhale, open up again, repeat the movement. Exhale, float the hand back down towards the left hand. Inhaling, open up again. Oh, it's like a bit of a balletic move. Good. Bring the right hand back down and plant it inside of the right foot. So this time the right hand's going to stay on the floor and we're going to open up to the left side with the left hand. So this time, as you open up, inhaling, you've got an opportunity for the left side of the rib cage to open. Fingertips nice and wide, looking up towards the hand. Exhale, bring the hand back down towards the floor, looking down between you onto your right hand. Inhale, open as you twist, looking up. Last time, exhale, float down. And inhale, lifting up. This time, plant the left hand on the floor. Step the right hand outside of the right foot. So from here, the hands are planted, the palms are planted on the floor. We're going to push through the hands and step the right foot back to come into down dog. So your feet are on the floor, maybe the heels may be lifted at this point. In fact, let's all come up onto high heels. So lifting the heels away from your mat, coming onto your toes, as if you're wearing some Jimmy Choos or similar. That may not translate for you, Rob, but I think the girls will know where we're going. So you're looking towards your toes and you're pushing the mat away with your hands. The more you push the mat away with your hands, the more you can feel your hamstrings and calves. And now as you gently soften the heels, you start to feel the back of the legs engaging more. So through the calves, the hamstrings may be talking to you. So no forcing, just allowing and noticing as you hang out in these poses for a little bit more time, the body starts to soften. Okay, so many of us know the flow that we go through in down dog. Elizabeth's mum, you don't know this flow, so watch for a moment and then join if you wish. So I don't know your name, sorry, but if you watch me, the rest of you can do the full version if you wish. Remember, there's always two choices with this. So Elizabeth's mum, this is the version I'd like you to try. So you're going to inhale to come up onto high toes, and then you're going to bend the knees so the shins are parallel with the floor. And then you're going to push the bum towards the heels, straighten the legs, you'll find down dog again. Okay, so when you're ready to join in, go ahead. So we're going to do 3 rounds. Inhaling high toes. Either bend the knees and shins or take yourself forward into plank. Push the bum back to the heels. Straighten the legs, down dog. Keep the flow going. Inhale, high toes. Either plank or bend the knees and shins. Roll the bum back. Straighten the legs, find your down dog. One more time. Inhaling high toes. Bend the knees and shins. Roll the bum back towards the heels and straighten through down dog. Good job. Okay, coming down into child's pose now. Take the knees wide. Sink the bum back to the heels as the toes come into touch. Allow the hands to straighten out in front of you and feel that length coming into your spine. Excellent. So let's take some little side rib openings while we're here in child's pose. So lift the head, walk the hands a little over towards your right side, and then sink the forehead back down to the floor. So right side of the rib cage opening and lengthening. feeling maybe the left rib cage being a bit, the right rib cage, your side, feeling a bit freer as you inhale. And then lift the head, walk the hands back to centre and over to the right. Sink the head down to the floor. And this time feel the opening in the left ribs. Keep the shoulders as soft as you can. Good. Lift the head, move the hands back, come back to tabletop. Okay, everybody okay? Good. So we're going to come to the other side now. So if you remember the sequence, we're going to step the left foot between the hands. So the fingers are going to come in pyramids. And remember, we're going to flow with our breath. So we're going to slide the hips forward. This time the right hip is opening. Lifting the chest and looking forward again. Taking a moment for the body just to settle in. Finding your edge in the pose there. Okay, so then as the next breath comes in, the hips slide back. The leg straightens. You soften the upper back. Okay, so let's follow that with our breath 2 more times. Inhaling, hips go forward, chest lifts, head lifts. Always through the nose if you can. Exhaling, bum goes back, front leg straightens, upper back softens. Good job. One more time. Inhaling, forward, chest lifts. Nice work. Exhaling, leg straightens, back softens. And then bring the knee back in line with the ankle. Turn the right toes, lift the right knee. Step the hands one by one onto the left thigh, if you can. If that doesn't work for you, then keep the right knee on the floor. So Elizabeth's mum, if you want to keep the right knee on the floor and keep supported in that way, absolutely fine. Good job. Always we have adjustments and variations that we can put into our practice. So from here we're going to plant the right hand inside the right foot. So release the left hand down towards the floor, and then on our inhale we're going to open up to the left side, looking up over the left fingers towards the ceiling. So either your back leg is lifted or your right knee might be on the floor. Just go with what's right for you. Exhale, fold the hand back down to touch the right hand. Inhale, open up again towards the left side. So we've got movement happening, keep that flowing one more time. Exhaling down and exhaling, inhaling, as you open. Do you probably feel that into your left hip, into the left side of the ribs, right up through the right shoulder. Float the hand back down, land it inside the left foot. So this time the weight goes into the left hand and we open up the right hand towards the right side, up towards the ceiling, looking up if we can. Exhale, fold back down, look towards the floor. Inhale, lifting back up. Treating that right arm like a wing. Exhale, soften it back down to the floor. One more time. Inhaling as you lift. Exhaling, plant the hand back down. Step the left hand outside of the left foot. Find your way back to down dog. You might want to bring the right knee to the floor first, or step the left foot back and pedal out your dog. So as if you were stepping on one heel as your opposite knee bends. Just hold that for a count of 2 and then change it over to the other side. So one knee bends and the opposite heel softens towards the floor.
Just keep that movement going as you will allow the length to come into the back of the legs. And then allowing both heels to soften in the direction of the floor as you push the mat away with your hands. Good, you're going to bring the knees back to the floor as wide as your mat. Come into a wide-legged tabletop. So, we're going to flow in and out through child's pose. So we've been doing this a fair amount recently. So plant the hands just slightly ahead of the shoulders. So maybe a hand's width ahead on your mat. So they're not, we normally have our wrists in line with our shoulders, but this time they're slightly ahead of them. Good. The knees are wide, the toes are touching. We're going to use our breath to flow. Exhale, take the bum back down to the heels. The forehead, if we can, in contact with the mat. Inhale, we're going to rise up to flat back, looking down between our hands. Exhale, bum towards the heels, forehead towards or on the mat. Let's flow that 2 more times. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, going down. Very good. Walk the knees in towards each other and step the hands back in line with the shoulders. So from here, we're going to come into down dog and then into a forward fold. So turn the toes, push the bum back towards the heels, lift the knees and shins off the floor, straighten the legs as the hips lift, crown of the head turns in the direction of the floor. Lift the head to look between the hands and then start to walk the feet to the hands. Keep the knees bent as you need to. So you're now looking down at the toes, your fingertips are on the floor. Your knees will be as bent as they need to be. Don't judge yourself on the bending in the knees. And turn the crown of the head, so the tip of the centre of your head in the direction of the floor. So we want that so that the neck releases. So just gently turn the head from side to side to release in the neck. Good job. So let's take a ragdoll here. So grab hold of elbows with the opposite hands and let the weight fall through the elbows and find maybe that your abdomen makes a deeper contact with the thighs. You're looking behind you between your legs now, and you can just gently sway from side to side, maybe moving the elbows and the head out in either direction towards the left and the right to find that release again through the lower back, the hamstrings hopefully starting to soften and release now. Good. And then allow the hands to come down to the floor, fingers and fingertips just in front of the feet. So we're going to inhale as we lift the upper body away from the legs to come through a flat back position. So the legs stay planted. Inhale as you look through your eyebrows. Exhale, fold the body back down over the legs. Keep that neck releasing. Good. So bend the knees deeply now so that the thigh comes to land on the chest. Take the hands out to either side, wrap them underneath your thighs, so you're giving yourself a big hug across the back of your legs. Looking towards your knees, bring the face in towards the legs. Release the hands back down to the floor. So we're going to come through chair pose here, so engage the core muscles, pull the belly button in towards the spine, zip up if you can your pelvic floor as you keep the legs where they are, but start to lift the body upwards. The hands lift and follow. Good, so we've got the posterior chain of muscles here from the back of the heel, right the way up the legs, right the way to the crown of the head.
The way that we really engage that is, let's take our hands and give our butt a little beat, a little tap. Back of our legs, what are we noticing here? So look at the knees, push the knees back over the heels, and then re-tap. Find your glutes again, back of the hamstrings. Notice that they're much more engaged as the knees go back over the heels. So sink the bum down, push the knees back, you'll feel that through your glutes, and then lift the hands just as far as is comfortable for you. So the deeper the lift, the more you get through working through the waist. Well done. Bring the hands together and inhale through heart center. We're going to add a little twist here. So you're going to rotate on your exhale over towards your right. Your left elbow is going to come outside of your right thigh. Your right elbow is going to be pointing up in the direction of the ceiling. And for those of you a bit more experienced, use the press against your palms to encourage the left side of the rib cage to move slightly in the direction of the right side. We're working through the digestive organs here as well with this twist. So waking up our digestion. And then inhale, bring the hands back through heart center. Exhale over to the left side. So left elbow out, right elbow outside of left knee, left elbow lifting towards the ceiling. Push into the palms and twist right side of the rib cage towards the left. Well done. Bring the hands back through center, keep them in the center of the heart, and then gently straighten the legs. Lift through the spine to come back through standing. Well done. Have a little walk along your mat. You've been on near the floor a bit, so you might be feeling a little dizzy. Take it easy. Take some water if you have some. Everybody good? Excellent. Okay, so let's go through a squat sequence. So we're going to be working these legs and hips nicely today. So step your feet out into a straddle-ish pose. So the ankles might be quite a deep straddle, or it can be quite a shallow straddle. Again, always listening to your body. If you can line your shoulders up with your hips, so avoid this for the moment or this. Try and get that nice alignment. Let's firstly take our hands overhead, join the palms together, so that we're now connecting this outside of the ankle and heel up through the legs, through the waist, the rib cage, underarms, and out through the fingertips. Look up towards your hands if you can, and reach the fingers as tall as you can. Float the hands down to either side of your thigh and bring the hands onto your hips. So we're just going to have a little pelvic warm up here, working into the hips. So we're going to slide the bum slightly back. Just watch for a moment. So this is going to be your exhale as the bum goes back. Feel the hamstrings engaging. And then you're going to lift, come back up through a straight spine on your inhale. Exhale, come to flat back. And inhale, back up through standing. So just moving slowly and mindfully with the rhythm of your breath. Repeating that 4 times. So finding certainly on your lifting pose that you're using your core muscles, your psoas muscle also, to bring the body back up through center. When you've completed 4, just let the hands release down to either side and give your shoulders a roll. Turn the palms open up towards the ceiling. And then bend at the elbows to bring the hands onto the shoulders. So we're keeping in a straddle position here, but it's absolutely fine if you want to put a little bend in your knees, go ahead and do so. So we're going to inhale, take the elbows in front and up towards the ceiling. That's your inhale movement. The exhale, the elbows travel down the back, come back to either side. So inhale, elbows come forward, lifting up towards the ceiling. Good. Rolling them down and behind on your exhale. One more time in that direction. Inhale, lifting forward, up towards the ceiling. Good job. Exhale, elbows go back and down. Now reverse it. So inhaling, elbows go back and up. And exhaling, down, forward. Twice more in that direction. Inhaling, elbows back, and stay on the shoulders if you can, up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward and down. One more time. Inhaling, back and up. Exhaling, forward and down. And release the hands down to either side, and just make any little movement you like in your shoulders. Good job. Okay, so this time hands come back onto the hips. Push the palm back, so back comes flat again. This time we're going to carry on down towards the floor. So look down at the floor and take the hands down so that the fingertips touch the floor. In front of the feet. Good. So from here we're going to bend the elbows so that the crown of the head travels close to the floor, looking behind you now. That's your exhale. Keep the fingertips on the floor. Inhale, come back through flat back, look through your eyebrows. Good, let's flow that twice more. Exhaling, folding down, crown of the head towards the floor, looking behind you. Inhale, fingertips stay on the floor, lift the chest, look through your eyebrows. Well done. One more time. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lift. Good job. Plant both hands on the floor. That's your balance point. And then heel toe the feet in towards each other. And you'll find yourself in a forward fold. Crown of the head towards the floor, looking in towards your knees and shins. Bend the knees a little. Step the hands out either side of the feet. We're going to inhale as we lift up through Urdhva Hastasana. So keep the knees a little bent. Inhale, the hands come to either side. Keep the hands moving up towards the ceiling. Open the chest. Look up towards the sky, ceiling. Fingertips opening wide, chest open. Spine nice and long. Bring the hands into touch. And exhale down through heart center. Well done. Bring the hands down to either side. So, we're warming up the body. We've been working through the hip flexors with our movements on the floor through our lunges. We've been working into the backs of the legs with our forward folds and with our straddled pose. And we've been using our forward folds to get that mobility into our hips. So we're now going to work with balance. Some of you are going to use a friendly wall beside you, where we're going to come through tree pose. So if you know you need that balance, or you're likely to need that balance, and if you're new to the class, you probably would like that balance. So finding what's going to work for you in terms of a prop. So if you're holding the wall, you're turning one side of the body to the wall and your hand is making contact with the wall. If you're not using a wall, you're going to take the weight into your left leg, so come up onto the right set of toes. You're going to aim to keep the hips and shoulders level and square with the short edge of your mat. pushing through your left leg, lift the right knee. Well done. Okay, so from here, the inside of the right foot's going to come inside of 3 choices. Some of us, it's going to come inside of the thigh. We're going to avoid the knee totally. For some of us, it's going to come inside the calf. And for some of us, the toes are going to touch the floor and the heel is going to reach into the inside of the left calf. Okay, so one variation. The foot stays on the floor and the heel touches the calf. The whole of the foot touches the calf, or the whole of the foot touches the inside of the thigh. Your variation. Important that you don't compensate by turning the shoulders out in order to get your balance. Perfect to put your hands out to either side like a tree, this being tree pose, to help you with your balance. Keep your shoulders soft and balanced away from the ears, so no punching up here. Use your breath to settle your body. It's an important element of yoga that we sometimes don't talk about is our body's feeling the stress of the pose, but we're using our breath to calm our body down. Bring the hands into heart center. Breathe a nice deep breath in. Feel that the back of the thumbs connecting in with the chest. And then release the leg, give it a shake, and step out your left leg. And give your hips a little wiggle. Do a little bit of salsa if you wish. Wrong type of music, but go with it. Good, well done. So, tree pose is a challenging pose because it works on our balance. Clearly, it strengthens our legs and our glutes, but it also engages our core muscles. So the more we engage with the upper and the lower parts of the body, this psoas muscle, which connects in with, comes towards, can't really show you with this, I can show you, bear with. So you get a little break on your legs now, where I show you a little bit of anatomy. So the psoas muscle comes down towards the knee here. It comes around the back of the body. It connects comes through these front muscles here. So we've got a muscle, a really long muscle that touches somewhere at the back here and comes down through the front. So a muscle that's one of the longest muscles in the body, and it's the only one that connects the upper and the lower. So you can imagine, let's say when you're lifting, it's your psoas muscle that's engaging. Put your hands on your belly and just lift and lower your knees. Just push in with your fingertips, and you can probably feel the muscles that are working there. Okay, so when we're using something like tree pose, we're going to do the other side now, because we're taking the weight into the standing leg and we're lifting through that knee. That's what the psoas muscle contracts in order to help us do that. And then as we come into our balance on the other side now, finding your version of tree pose today, we're engaging with standing leg, so this time your right leg. We're opening up the left hip in this pose because the knee is opening out to the side. We want to stay nice and long through the spine as we can, using your hands as you wish to either balance you. Your hands could come together over your head. Focusing on your breath now. So when you find a breath shortening because you're struggling to keep your pose, focus on the breath over the posture, because the breath is right, it'll allow your pose to settle in. Good job. And then bring the hands down through heart center. Just take a breath in through the backs of your thumbs, connecting in with your rib cage. And as you exhale, release the leg Give it a shake. Excellent. So we've been standing a lot today, so let's come down to the mat and let's work into some poses from a seated position. So let the legs go long to begin with. Let's find Dandasana. So find the fleshy parts and push them behind so that you can sort of feel grounded in with your sit bones on the floor. Then we want to get this nice L shape happening so the shoulders line up with the hips. The legs are long, but you might need a slight bend in your knees, depends on your hamstrings. And if you can, push your heels away and turn your toes towards your shins. Just let the hands come down to either side in line with your hips. Looking straight ahead, lifting and lengthening through the spine and the crown of the head. Shoulders softening down and away from the ears. Take a moment to feel grounded there. Then turn the palms up. We're going to inhale, take the hands up and overhead. So the upper arms are aligned with our ears. Our fingertips are pointing towards the ceiling. Look up towards the ceiling and seeing if you can lengthen away from the hips a little more. So full extension as you can through the spine. Okay, we're going to tilt from the pelvis here and we're going to take our fingers and arms so that they come diagonally. So start to tilt slightly forward, but not too far. So you're making this diagonal between the fingertips and the hips at the moment. So again, you're just warming up the body, you're messaging to your spine. Look down towards the knees and then allow the hands to softly fall wherever they do fall. It could be on the middle of your shins, it could be towards your ankles, it may be on your toes. As you look down towards your knees, allow the back to soften. Make any little adjustments, micro movements that you need. It's not about pushing the torso towards the legs. It's about allowing. It's actually the hamstrings here that are going to be needing to soften. That will help the torso gently find its way towards your legs. Move the head from side to side. Keep that neck nice and releasing. Keeping the hands wherever they are. Inhale, just lift the torso back up a bit as you look forward. Fill up your lungs with air. Inhaling. Exhale, soften the body back down towards the legs. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, as you lift the torso, looking forward. Exhale, soften back towards your legs. Well done. Lift the head, slide the hands along the shins and knees. Come back to your starting point, back to Dandasana. Plant the hands on the floor, fingertips pointing towards your feet. Bend the knees so that the feet come to the floor. And then we're going to push through the hands and lift the hips away from the floor. So we're just going to let the spine hang nice and long and maybe take a little wiggle through our hips. Just find some ease through the lower back. Nice way to just sort of counterpose from that forward bend that we've been doing. And then drop the bum back to the floor. And now let's come into cobbler pose. So joining the soles of the feet, the knees are coming out to either side. You've got it. So take the hands around the toes and then use that contact with your toes to inhale and lift and open the spine. So we want a nice long spine, chest is staying open, and we're working with our range of movement in our knees to open out to either side. Inhale and exhale. So keeping the legs where they are, release the hands. Take the fingers in fingertips just in front of the feet. So now we're going to walk our body forward, just gently creeping a little bit, a little bit, a little bit forward. So now the face is looking towards the feet, the neck is soft again, and we're just releasing the chest in the direction of the feet. It's not a big pushing movement. Always think about allowing. It's allowing, we're not trying, we're just releasing the body downwards. And again, always using our exhale to soften a little more. Good job. Inhale, take the chest back up and plant the feet on the floor, the knees stay bent. So walk the feet out as wide as your mat. So now we're going to roll the knees from side to side to give some nice, I was using remember the synovial fluid that works through the ball and socket joint. We're talking about our hips here. We want to lubricate, so we're going to get that movement, unusual movement, because we're normally, our ball and socket is moving this way and this way. The legs are moving and the hips are flexing. But we're going to now be doing it from this movement. So hands come down to the floor in line with our hips. So we're going to roll the knees over to your right. The left hip comes off the floor. So we get a little tension also in the rib cage. So knees soften towards the floor. Again, move away from any pain. Just allow the movement, the range of movement to happen in your body. No sharp movements. Inhale, come back through center. Then exhale, take them over to the other side. This time the right hip comes off the floor. Keep the hands in contact with the floor. Okay, so now just windscreen wiper those from side to side. Not fast exactly, but just find a movement, a rhythm that feels nice for your body. So we are releasing the lower back, we're greasing or oiling, whatever analogy you want to use. Our ball and socket joint of our hips, our knees are getting a little workout as well. Our ankles, feet, all good. Shoulders even as we push into the mat with our hands. Good. And then come back through center. So your right leg can go long and your left leg is going to come in tight. So your left heel's coming in towards your bum. Flex through the right foot, so turn the toes in towards the shin, the heel pushes away. Right hand wraps around the left thigh. Left hand goes behind you, alongside the spine, but away from the spine. Fingers are in fingertips. So you're going to inhale, push the mat away with the back hand and lengthen in the spine. Good. And as you exhale, you're going to turn and rotate over the left side. So look over your left shoulder in a backwards direction. So what are we doing here? Well, we're obviously putting a twist in the spine, but again, this is a digestive aid. So we're squeezing the digestive organs. So we're using this contraction like the wringing out of a towel. So by squeezing, by putting pressure and contraction, we are flushing out the water, the fluid that might be in some of our cells, and we're allowing it to replenish. So squeezing, but unwind halfway now as you inhale. So you're coming out of the squeezing, and then as you exhale, go back in. Find a little more space, a little more twist. Again, just listening to your body. Seeing if that left shoulder can move a little bit further away from the ear. Good, and then gently unwinding. Release the left leg long, give the knees a little Jiggle. Everybody good? Ready for the other side. So slide the right foot in. Heel comes towards the bum. Left hand comes around front of that knee. Flexing through the left foot. Right hand travels behind us in line with the spine. Fingers on the floor. Fingertips on the floor. Inhale as you push the mat away. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, twisting over the right shoulder towards the back of your mat. Keep the shoulders soft and away from the ears. Again, awareness in the stomach as you twist. Inhale, come out halfway. Get that length in the spine again. And then exhale, twist back in as you look behind you. And then gently unwind. Let the right leg go long. Soften through the knees. Bend the knees. We're going to come into our bridge pose now. So bridge pose, great pose to help us get a little more movement, flex into the pelvis. It's good for the glutes, for the quads, the thighs. It strengthens through the back. So bring your back to the floor. So knees stay bent. You're looking up towards the ceiling, and then walk your heels in towards your bum and turn the toes in slightly to protect your knees. So we're going to keep our hands on the floor for the first couple of moves. We're just going to lift and lengthen through lift the pelvis and the lower spine. So push into the feet. As you inhale, turn the pelvis in towards the belly button slightly, noticing that that starts to lift the pelvis and then the lower spine away from your mat. So keep pushing into the feet as you keep lifting in the pelvis. You'll find yourself when your upper back, keep looking straight ahead. Avoid turning your neck. So the pelvis lifts, you feel your thighs engaging, and a lot of your spine is lifted away from the floor. So this move comes with our inhale in a moment when we come into a flow. So as we release through the exhale, we're going to move down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly with control, until we find ourselves back at our starting point with the pelvis and the glutes back in contact with the floor. Release and let go through the pelvis, and just have a little hip wiggle here so that you can feel that release. You're not holding on to any tightness that you don't need. Good. Okay, so again, keeping the hands on the floor. Let's do that one more time with your breath. Inhaling, lift gently in the hips, unpeel the spine from your mat, push the floor away with your feet as you lift. So you've got like a ski slope running from your knees, down your thighs, across your hips, down towards your chest. As your exhale comes in, gently rolling the spine down to the floor, to your start point. Good job. Again, make sure everything's releasing. So this time we're going to add the arms. So if you're not sure, Elizabeth's mum, just watch the first time and then join in a minute. So this time as you inhale, as your spine peels away from the floor, the hands lift and go behind the head. So we're bringing in the chest, the intercostal muscles. We're opening up the front of the chest, working the waist. And then as we exhale, bring spine and the hands and then the pelvis down to the floor. So let's repeat that 3 times. Closing your eyes if you're comfortable, going into the sensing body. Inhale, lift, hips, arms go behind. Feel the front of the body opening nicely. Reversing the movement on your exhale.
You've got it. Well done. 2 more times, working with your breath. Inhaling as you lift. And exhaling as you release. Very nice. One more time. Good job. So roll the knees over to any one side and use your hands to push you back up to a seat. So what I'd like you to do is to, if you can see what I've done, so start with the feet on the floor and then slide both feet over to one side. So you've got the front leg, the sole of the foot is into the top of the back thigh. Make sense? Yeah? Okay, so if you've got the same direction as me, so put your hand up if you've got your right knee forward. Okay, some of you have. So if you're doing the opposite of me, so if you've got your right knee is forward, put your hand on your front knee, whichever one it is, and then slide that hand out to the hip at the side. Okay, so we're going to lift, push through the hand that's now on the floor, and come onto that front knee. So we're going to come into it's like a wild thing. So we're opening up the front of the body, the bum is off the floor, lower back down, bring the hand onto the front of that knee, that's your exhale. Inhale, lift. Open the arm, looking up. Exhale and lower. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling, lift the bum. And come back down to the floor. Okay, so can you reverse that now? So swing the knees over to the other side. So this time, same hand on the front knee. And then drop it down to the side, beside your hip. Good. So inhale, roll onto the knees, lift the hip, open up the other arm. Look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, lower back down. Hand comes to the knee. Inhale, lifting up, opening the body. Exhaling, return again. And one more time. Inhaling, lift and open. And exhaling. Okay. Roll the knees back through centre. And then you're going to find a seated position for a little bit of breathing practice. So I would encourage you to find a blanket or a cushion to sit back on. So anything that's going to help you, just having the bum slightly higher than the hip. So if you've got a block, if you've got bolster, so it's going to allow your knees to be slightly open, slightly more. So just find something that's going to help you sit comfortably. If it's not comfortable for you to sit unsupported, then sit back against a wall. That's also absolutely fine. Good. So we're going to practice a balancing breath pose. As I said to some of you in the Mondays class, I'm about 80% through my breathing qualification. I shall be finished by Friday. So we're going to do a balancing breath. It's box breathing that some of you have done with me before. And I would use a little prop just to show you how we're going to do this. So I know this isn't quite a box because it's a rectangle rather than a square, but I don't have a square box. So it's going to be 4 equal breaths for the count of 4. So the first 4 comes up the left side of the blocks, and it can be helpful for you to make the shape as you do the breath. So just don't do anything yet, I'll just show you. So you're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, up the left side of your imaginary box. And then you're going to hold for a count of 4 across the top of your box.
And then you're going to exhale for a count of 4 down the other side. And then you're going to hold the final count of 4. And we're going to do 3 rounds of the 4-4 breath. But there are 2 4 holds in between the inhale and the exhale. The inhale is up the left side of your box. The hold for 4 is across the top of your box. Exhale is down the right side of your box. And the hold is across, just go back to your start point. Okay, so if it helps you to make the shape of the box, you're going to be fine, do that. You're just going to keep your head as you're looking straight ahead. So let's do this together. So take your left hand out to the bottom corner of your box. So the inhale and exhale, if your nose is okay to do so, is all going to be nostril breathing. If you have a problem with the nostril breathing, then just breathe in through slightly softened lips. So let's all go together. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Last round. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Hands back on your knees, normal breath. Close your eyes for a couple of moments, connecting back in with a normal breathing pattern. So this is a great little breathing technique that you can use any time of day when you want to when you're feeling out of balance slightly. Something may have set you off, something unexpected happened, have an emotional reaction to something. You can just complete just 3 rounds, just we just did there. Settles the body, the breath back down. Okay, good job. So now, last 5 minutes, I'm going to go into Shavasana. So finding maybe warm things, a blanket, a prop. You can use a cushion under your head or a blanket. You can lay a blanket over you. You can keep your legs straight or you can keep them bent if that's better. Elizabeth's mum, if your back becomes sore because your legs go long, you're better to keep your knees bent and just allow the knees to fall in towards each other, which will release and relax through your hips. So, apologies as I try and find a relaxation pose without making horrible moves with this weird noise that I'm making. Okay. So, finding a comfortable pose for your Shavasana. Maybe allowing the hands to open out either side. If your legs are long, just allow the ankles to release so the feet slightly turning out. Closing your eyes. Settling back into your body. Taking a couple of moments to just do a little scan across your body, observing sensations. Maybe reflecting back at the start of your practice and noticing what might be different. your body that are in contact with the mat or the floor. Feel supported, noticing, but there may be parts of your body which are still holding. I think you can give them permission to release. As you feel the inhale coming in through the nostril and the exhale also through the nostrils. Exhale to bring even more relaxation and release through the body. Imagining the inhale starting soles of the feet and travelling up and through the body, filling your body with energy till it reaches the crown of your head at the top of your inhale. And then as you exhale, let go, breath travels down through the body, bringing more relaxation. Torso, crossing past the hips and pelvis, down the thighs and knees, shins, and out into the feet. Allowing your breath to move as if it was a wave, traveling in and out through the body. Naturally moving as the waves control how they move into the sun and moon. Your breath following this natural rhythm. Continuing to relax and release even more. Checking in with your face, allowing your jaw to soften, the teeth in the jaw, tongue in your mouth, your lips, your cheeks and your nose, eye sockets, your ears, your forehead softening and smoothing. Imagine all your hair follicles just releasing whites, allowing the Mona Lisa smile to float across your face. As you experience moments of peace, relaxation. As your breath begins to deepen slightly, your awareness to come back into the room. Begin to wriggle fingers and toes, and the head to slowly and gently move from side to side. Allowing the knees to gently bend so the feet come to the floor. Maybe your knees want to bring screen wiper gently from side to side, to lower back. And if you wish to bring the knees into the chest, go ahead and do so for a slightly deep massage across the glutes and the hips, making whatever movement. And as you gently roll over to any 3 of you in the room, try and make it the same side. And gently in your own time, slowly, slowly making your way back to a seated position. Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen.
How are you feeling?
Good. Good, thank you. A lot looser.
Good. That's good to hear. So I have recorded this session, so I will send you the link so that if you wish, remember I'm not here next week, but back to normal the week after. So have a lovely week, everyone. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
It was good to see Elizabeth's mum, whose name is...
Lynette.
Sorry I didn't have your name. And nice to see you again, Corin, too.
You too.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Have a lovely evening.
Thank you,
Bye.
Karen.
Take care all.
Bye.
Thank you, Karen.